Welcome back to the Aussie Shed, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Project Fairlady. So I figure it's about time that I whip the cover off the old girl and show you guys exactly what I've been up to. And there she is, guys. Looking pretty bloody good in my opinion. Alright, I'll get this camera off the tripod and we'll have a bit of a walk around the outside and chat about all the different things. Back in a second. Alright, so apologies in advance for any wobbly camera footage, guys. Alright, I guess we better start from the very front. This is something that's always very hard to film in the shed, just because of the closeness to the front benches here. That's my front bar there. Again, pretty hard to tell what it looks like because you really need to get back a few feet, but unfortunately at this stage, guys, that's the best I can do with it. So that's the TT front bumper bar, factory front bumper bar. Changes to it are intercooler ducts bonded in there and kind of moulded in-ish and painted, and then the Twin Z lower valance, which has been sectioned into 3 pieces and fiberglass back together to get a better fit because I wasn't happy with the original fit up of it, and it has been semi molded in. So basically these areas here have been blended together, you know, this being part of the new Twin Z section and these being the original gills from the TT bar. There's normally a defining line between the two. They've been blended together. You can see here we've still got that edge there, which is how it would be regardless. And I've just improved the fit up of it all in all these different areas, so it sort of looks pretty good. This is the cap here for my tow hook. That just unscrews. There's just a little stainless bolt on there. That comes out and then the tow hook goes in, and that's I figure that's a pretty neat solution. On the front there, the Twin Z center panel. Standard bonnet. I've kind of ditched the vented bonnet for now. That's something I'd rather not get into, but I kind of made a real cock up of it. So there's going to have to be a second version of that. But for this stage, nothing wrong with the stock bonnet. I'll just have to monitor temps once it's all up and running and see whether it is actually an issue or not. I do still have all the vents and everything. And to be honest, the bonnet that I was using when I was mocking up the vents and everything was a hail damaged bonnet, and it would have been a lot of work to bring it up to ship shape. So it's probably a bit of a blessing in disguise that I made such a mess of it when I was trying to basically do some welding on it and stuff. But anyway, that's all good. Moving along here, you know, as you would have seen from when the car was painted, they're just the smoke Nismo indicators there. All new glass, or sorry, not all new glass, but the glass has been sort of redone, so that is a completely brand new screen there. New cowl pieces, thingamabobbies down in here, they're all brand new, genuine Nissan items. All of the trim has been replaced on the car. Top screen seals and everything have also all been replaced. And around onto the doors. You can see all the glass and everything's back in. There's been various bits and pieces shown on other videos. These trims, I actually repainted those myself, cleaned them up and repainted them because they were in reasonable sort of condition, so they came up quite well. You see with the roof, it's been sort of blacked out, so it's all been done properly. So when you pull the T-top panels out, it's all black inside. It's not just back to being silver, which in my opinion looks pretty shit if you just put a wrap on there or something like that. I'm definitely happy with how that's turned out. Looks absolutely fantastic. So with the tops out, very nice. Nothing to be ashamed of there. I definitely think all the reworking of the drip channels and everything's going to pay off as far as leak issues and everything goes. So I'm really praying that when this thing gets out in the rain, I'm not going to have any leaks. Yes, it's probably wishful thinking, but, you know, we've all got to have dreams, don't we? Anyway. That's the original back glass, but it is sitting in all new seals. So we've got new genuine corner pieces, new seals and everything on here that goes underneath. New seal that goes, you know, around the window. These were all quite badly UV damaged from over the life of the vehicle. There was a lot of, you know, chips, and this sort of rubber had gone really hard, and it just looked absolutely terrible. You can see I'm using I think it might be a Z-Spec washer nozzle delete there, which looks pretty flash. It does a good job of doing that. And you'll remember that I actually deleted the wiper arm by welding up the hole and everything. Same deal on the side here. The antenna hole's welded up on here. It turned out really well. There's absolutely no signs once we painted and everything. And it's been blocked many times. There's you know, definitely no remnants, no shadow lining or anything that was anything like that ever there. Wheels, obviously you would have seen those in the last couple of videos. The blue's not staying, that's not an anodizing or anything, that's just a plastic film to give them protection until I get some tyres and stuff on them. Twin Z stuff along the sides. So Twin Z side skirts and side lips. Again guys, it's really hard to get back far enough to give you a, you know, a good view of all this sort of stuff. I'll be really happy once I can get this car outside and get it out in the sun and give you a really good look at it. Rear quarters down here, the clearance lights. I've had a few questions about these. People have spotted them in a few different shots that I've done on the car. They are actually an aftermarket lens. They were actually a sort of a clear lens that that you could buy many years ago. I managed to find a set of them on one of the forums or something. And what you had to do with those was cut the red lenses off your existing units and then bond these on. And I did that, and I sort of fitted them to the car, and I wasn't happy with them. They just kind of looked a bit crap. The surface finish on them wasn't that great. So I thought I'd tint them to sort of match my Nismo indicators on the front guards, and they just didn't turn out that well. And I thought, no matter what I do to these things, I'm not happy with them. So then I had a crack at polishing them because the surface finish was part of the problem with them. Got them all polished up, still didn't like them. And then I decided, no, bugger it, I'm going to paint them. So I had the boys at the paint shop who did all the paint work on the car, handed them off onto those guys, and we painted them, and I think they look fantastic. I think they look really good. Anyway, just something a bit different. Alright, let's head round the back of the car. Alrighty, the back of the car. I'll start from the top down. Okay, so we've got a Twin Z Type 1 rear spoiler, late model tail lights and center panel. Then what started off as a factory rear bar that I've since modified. I've done some cutouts in it that are reminiscent of the Revolve SA Midnight Car Club Z32 from Japan. I've also cut the center of the bumper bar away, and all of that is kind of part of a package that I'm putting together for the car with a full under-trainer rear diffuser. The diffuser templates I made a few videos on a fair while ago now, but I still have those. They're actually up on the shelf. I don't know if you can see them up there, sitting there waiting for the time to come for me to turn them into aluminium. So all of these things will be functional. Those vents will actually be functional, and there's quite a lot of stuff sort of to do with that. So that's why all the work on the rear bar, even though it does look pretty good, it's actually for functional purposes. So I think the back of it's starting to look pretty smart, in my opinion anyway. A bit of a sneak down that side. Looks the same as the other side. Ton of work just getting the body straight, and even just getting that fuel flap to sit flush with the body line on this side. I don't want to say how much work I put into that flap, shaving it down and building it up in areas to get it to sit really nice and flush with the body, and get all the gaps lined up and all that sort of stuff. There's been a lot of work done gapping everything on this thing. Anyone who's sort of done this sort of stuff will be well aware that, you know, it takes a ton of work getting all your body gaps right and all that sort of stuff, which has all been done. Again, another one of those clearance light panels that we painted. I'm using the iPhone now, much better with light distribution and everything. Big problem for this, it just doesn't have much of a wide angle lens compared to my GoPro that I use normally. So I get stuck with the GoPro and it's just terrible in low light. Anyway, it's starting to get there. So I think the next thing we'll do is we'll just pop the bonnet. So that's about what she's looking like in here. Pretty much how a lot of you guys would remember it. There's probably bits and pieces that I probably haven't shown. Anyone who's not familiar with the car that's watching this. So the engine bay was stripped and repainted probably a good 6 months ago now. And then a lot of this stuff in here was kind of refitted. So it has all new wiring looms, mostly kind of new stuff, new nuts and bolts, everything sort of been done with stainless hardware and, you know, all that sort of stuff. You can see the high-cast solenoid stuff has all been removed from there. That's an NA power steering reservoir. That's a PWR radiator. That was on the car when I bought it. But it's had a bit of work done on it. I've had to replace the cap neck here because it was kind of corroded and stuff. But other than that, it seemed to be in pretty good condition. The brake booster there, that's an R35 GTR booster and master cylinder combination. That was a fairly easy sort of modification to do. Oh, and shout out to Andrew Kudos from Kudos Motorsport here in Australia. He supplied me with the connector that I was missing to connect the low level sensor there. I was struggling to get one, and he just emailed me and sent me one out of the blue. It says a lot about a person who's happy to just volunteer something like that, you know. Anyway, good work. Thanks, Andrew. So yeah, it's looking pretty sweet. You can see the underside of the bonnet or the hood there. It was all painted in 2-pack silver when we did the car. The original paintwork that's on the underside of the bonnet and the engine bay, even though it's kind of silver, it's really crappy from the factory. So at least this is all been done with you know, proper durable 2-pack paint. You can see down here all the heat insulation and everything that's been done. The car has that heat-proof treatment all the way down the entire length of the transmission tunnel now, right back to the differential. So that should help stop a lot of heat and a lot of noise and vibration and stuff from coming through there. But mainly it's you know, it's for heat. You know, it is still a twin turbo. Sitting back in these corners, they do generate a bit of heat. You know, it'd be good to have a bit of heat management. You know, down there protecting your brake hardware and all that sort of stuff. And on that side, you've got your wiring looms and battery and all that sort of thing. Fuel pressure regulator there. And obviously there are lines already set up. There's 2 fuel feed lines for the top feed fuel rails. Heaps of stuff's already set up. You can see there's oil cooler lines and everything all ready to go down there, ready for the motor to go back in. Obviously all the intercooler piping has been replaced. I've custom made all new intercooler piping. It's all 2.5 inch all the way through from the intercoolers. The intercoolers have been sort of modified as well. But it's all starting to look, you know, it's all looking pretty sweet. Overall the car's becoming sort of a very nice package. Alright, we might go and have a look inside, and see how the interior's going. Okie dokes. So, yeah, it's definitely coming along. You would have seen the video that I did when I was doing the speakers. I don't have the door trims finalised yet. I've been doing a bit of stuff with seat belts, trying to organise some new belts and things, but I'm sort of getting a bit nowhere with that. But all the tweed's been cleaned. I've actually been on a bit of a mission to sort of clean all the tweed up. So all this stuff, not that you can really see it well in here because of the light, but it's all been cleaned, and it actually came up surprisingly well. A lot of it I thought it was not savable and it would have to be replaced, but it's actually sort of come up pretty well. So I guess we'll sort of start from the top. Actually, you can't see shit. Let me get a torch. It's a little bit better, I guess. So all this stuff's been sort of put together in the best sort of way possible. You know, new lenses and new LED globes and everything, new stickers and all that sort of stuff. And the handles have been replaced on the T-top. And so that's looking pretty good. The car's got really good condition sunshades and everything like that in it, and the sort of T-bar roof top itself is actually pretty good indeed. And as I say, now I've got a torch in here, you can see a bit more of the grey tweed. All of this is just sitting in there too, by the way, guys. It's all sort of just been put in the position so I could either make repairs on it or just make sure that I have all the pieces that I need. I've actually replaced so much of the stuff in the car, which I'll sort of start going into now. So the dashboard, like the crash pad, isn't the original dashboard that came with the car, even though the original dash that was in the car looked okay as far as there was no splits or anything like that, or no holes in it. When I removed it, it basically fell out of the car, and the reason being there were almost no screws or anything holding it into the dashboard, into the vehicle. And the reason for that is just about every mounting point, clip, or anything that would fix it in position was broken on the dashboard. It had a lot of very big cracks in the main frame of the dashboard, and I decided that it was just beyond repair, absolutely beyond repair. So I bought this dashboard here second hand, just off Marketplace. It was sold to me as being in mint awesome condition, and of course nothing ever really is. And the problem with stuff like this is, you know, everyone's got a different standard of what they think mint awesome condition is, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It had typically come away a bit in the vent areas up the top there, but while I had it out, I cut all that away and rebonded it all in around the vents, so it's like brand new now. It looks sort of factory and all that sort of thing. I did a lot of plastic welding on it because even though it was actually pretty good, it still had a few broken mounting points and a few broken clip areas, which have all been repaired with plastic welding. So now this dashboard is 100%, every mount, every screw hole, every clip point is completely functional on the dash, so it sits in really nice and firm and won't rattle at all. And while I had the dashboard out, I also rebuilt the ventilation system in the car, pulled all the piping and all the sort of venting pieces apart and cleaned them all out, and then resealed them with new foam tape on everything. And also I fixed up quite a few of the temperature sensors that are mounted inside. A lot of that pipe work had come loose and was sort of rattling around. Just another thing that would possibly end up in a rattle when you're driving the vehicle, you know, that you don't sort of want to be having to deal with. And I did pay particular attention to, when I was reassembling a lot of this, to foam tape a lot of electrical connectors and you know, make sure everything's tied really well back so that there are no rattles from the vehicle once it's all sort of together. The steering wheel there, you can see I've got a really nice steering wheel there. That's obviously not the original wheel that came with the car. The original wheel that had all the leather just about peeling off it and was completely knackered. And searching around took me a couple of years, but I have found this steering wheel, which is in pretty much mint condition. It even has the badge in the middle, which is amazing. So very happy to find a mint condition original wheel like this. Now the dashboard, you can see there, take that away. So that's the Haltech dash sitting in there. Sits in really well. Might even be able to get it to turn on. Okay, that should bring it on. There we go. Oh, look out, the coolant temperature's high. What are we going to do? Now I've got a warning going off. I'll just kill that. Alright, obviously, you know, the sensors aren't connected. There's all sorts of funny things going on at the moment. without the wiring looms being properly connected into things. And also the configuration hasn't really been 100% completed, but it is getting there. I have done, you know, quite a bit of work on it. But yeah, that's what the new Haltech dash is going to look like in the car. So you can see a set of my fancy pedals that I make and sell on my website, which is upperhandperformanceproducts.com.au. So all the Z32 stuff that I've kind of put together while I've been doing this car is sort of for sale on there, and that's one of them. My billet pedal footrest on the left, and genuine Nissan Sport pedal covers, and on the right hand side there, that's my sort of custom 350Z based drive-by-wire throttle pedal assembly. So all sitting there together, it's a really nice looking set made out of mostly genuine Nissan parts, so you know they're going to sort of hold up. I'm very, very proud of those. So into the center here, so you can see I've got a double DIN stereo unit thingy there with a Fairlady Z emblem in place of the clock. You know, again, the original stuff out of this car was in such bad condition, and I really had to kind of replace everything, and that's just the ideal thing to do it with. Gear stick surround there. You can see I've got a new leather surround on where the gear stick's going to come through. New leather surround on the handbrake there, and if I just open up this, you'll see that I have my two Haltech rotary switches in there, which is for sort of traction control and map switching, boost control and stuff, sitting there tucked away in the console, so that they're kind of not really obvious to anyone. Yeah, so that's pretty much what the front's looking like. It's all come along pretty well. She's starting to look like a pretty smart vehicle compared to what I started with, you know. Alright, we'll turn that off. We'll head into the back hatch area. Also, while I'm here, the A-pillar trims have been replaced. You can see it there, but yeah, they're both new A-pillar trims. All the clips and everything were broken on them. They just fell to pieces when I got them out. Alright, let's head into the back. Alright, in the back we go. So all the plastics in the vehicle in this hatch area are all looking pretty good now. They've all been actually replaced, bar one original piece that's still in here. All the original stuff was in pretty poor condition, lots of scratches and broken tabs, you know, and sun damage on the plastic and all that sort of stuff. They just looked absolutely terrible. So it's taken quite a while, but I have managed to replace just about everything, and I'm very happy with it, how it's all sort of turned out. That center sort of luggage holder thing there isn't sitting on there just because I still have to do some work on the fuel pump and bits and pieces down in there. I do have a brand new unit for that's sitting up on the shelf in a box from Nissan. I've had that sort of for a while, so that'll all look pretty flash. The carpet that I've got to put back in here and everything all looks really good, so that should be a good thing. I've also managed to source a cargo blind for the thing, so I've managed to find a really mint condition genuine cargo blind for the vehicle. It's not one of the newer aftermarket ones that you can buy from Z1. It is actually an original, even though it does look new, but it is actually an original one, because the vehicle didn't have one in it when I bought it. It was missing tons and tons of stuff like that. Plastics on the top, they've all been replaced as well, bar this one over here, which I'm still on the lookout for. All these other pieces, again, they had big scratches and broken tabs and stuff like that. And you can see right here is a big ugly scratch on that one. So I'm still looking to replace that right hand piece there. So if you're in Australia and you've got one of those, get hold of me, guys, and we'll sort something out. So looking back into the front area from here, you can see how that's all looking from this view. Very, very happy with how that's all sort of turned out. You can see there's, you know, a lot of shit going on down there in the footwell. Still lots of wiring to complete. It's a bit of a mess at the moment when you're at this stage with the vehicle and you're sort of trying to sort stuff out. You end up in this kind of a predicament. So obviously when it's all sorted, I've got to retape a lot of that and neaten it all up. I might even actually redo some of it to get it all sort of neat and tidy, but I do have a lot of stuff jammed in there, which, you know, doesn't help when you're trying to get it sort of neat, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's all coming along rather well. Back at the back again, just some details that I missed when I was showing you guys the back of the car, because I didn't zoom up at all. You can see there's mesh in these back vents that I've cut into the rear bar there. That turned out pretty good. That's a powder coated aluminium mesh, and that's bonded in there on the other side. And as I say, they are functional vents. They will be in use once the flat floor and the rear diffuser and everything goes in. They'll have a lot of air channeling through them, so they should be a good thing. Very happy with how this whole kind of back area has turned out. Probably can't see up there, but this new license plate lighting up there, so there's the whole lot's new, like the license plate wiring loom, and all the lenses and everything are all brand new, just because the original stuff on the car was pretty sus. One of the globe holders had a few broken tabs in it. It's just like, no, I'll just replace the whole friggin' lot of it. Alright. Oh yeah, you can see the hole there for the reversing camera, which is going to sit under the Twin Z spoiler there. It should be pretty much unnoticeable once it's mounted properly. I have painted it silver in body colour when the paint work was done. I just don't have it fitted at the moment because we have a couple of things to do on the back here. We've got to black out this section here where it's meant to be black above the tail lights, so I can put all the factory stickering back on, you know, the bloody twin turbo Nissan stuff and everything's got to go back on there. So I've left the reverse camera off just until all that's done. I chose not to mount the reverse camera down in the number plate area like that, just because it kind of sucks down there. I have another vehicle that has a reverse camera mounted in that position, and I absolutely hate it. It's just really terrible. Like, it's better than nothing, but it's a pretty crappy perspective it gives you, and you miss out on a lot of vision that you get with it mounted up higher, like you do in most modern vehicles. You look at anything that's got a factory reversing camera, and they're generally mounted up, you know, that kind of height, and that's for good reason. Let's head back to the front. So part of the reason I'm showing you guys all of this now is I'm probably going to cover the car up and keep it covered up for a while, so you probably won't be able to see it in hardly any of the upcoming episodes. So at least you'll have a firm image in your head of what it looks like. So what I'm about to do is delve into the motor and gearbox. So I'm going to get serious with the engine and driveline, get the motor from where it is at the moment. It's in the corner, buried under a pile of crap, so I'm going to drag that out, pull the box off the back of it, get it on the engine stand, and start sort of tearing into it, just to see exactly what I need to do to it as far as refresh work goes, and you know, stuff to tidy things up and get it going, and really fully assess it. I have done a primary assessment on it ages ago, right back when I first bought the car, and everything was pretty good. But I did note that there were areas that needed a bit of work, so I may end up completely stripping the motor down, or I may not. It just depends on what I find. So I thought I'll show you this, because the next few episodes will probably be engine related specifically. Not a lot I have to do on the box. I've already done quite a bit of work on the box. Just tidy up stuff, you know, put new seals in things and all that sort of stuff. So yes, it's going to be quite engine focused. And also probably, I'll probably end up getting this front suspension cross member sorted. It's actually still bolted on the bottom of the engine. So it's kind of stopped me putting all this together because of the way that I'm putting the engine in and out from underneath. it's really much easier to have the front suspension not assembled, so you can just, you know, slide that cross member up and down, engine attached without any suspension hanging off it. So I'll probably keep it that way, and that's also held me up from rebuilding the power steering rack, which I have all the parts here to do, and I've got the rack here ready, all cleaned up, ready to go. So I assume at some point in the next videos I will be probably rebuilding the power steering rack as well. So that's where I'm at, guys, and that's where I'm heading to. So I hope you've enjoyed this bit of an overall walkthrough on the Fairlady and where it is with everything at the moment. And I hope you're excited about what's still to come. Alright guys, as always, thanks for stopping by the Aussie Shed. Always a bloody pleasure to have you here. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment if you can, because it really helps with the algorithm. As always guys, I'll bloody well see you on the next one. Cheers.